Hello there, and welcome to another Morphy game I'm about to show you. As I said, Morphy is one of my favorite players, and I'll try to show you as many of his games as possible. And this game was in 1858, and Morphy is playing Adolf Anderssen, one of his rivals at the time. It was considered to be Morphy's immortal in the game of the 19th century. So let's check it out. Morphy started off with E4, and Andersen replied with E5. Morphy now played the King's Gambit with F4. At the time, this was an accepted move, and Andersen responded with the main line: E takes F5, E takes F4. Morphy went Knight F3, continuing to develop his pieces. G5, protecting the pawn, just in case he ever went D4 or D3. H4, trying to undermine the pawn and bring out the queen. And now G4, attacking the knight to save a pawn because the knight was also attacking the pawn on this square, so it would be very susceptible to danger. And then G4, attacking the knight. Knight E5, knight F6, knight takes G4, knight takes E4, and D3. Now Andersen played knight G3, attacking the rook. Morphy ignores the threat and goes bishop F4. The black says, okay, thank you, I'll take the knight, but he missed a very vital move. So once the knight takes H1, Morphy was able to win the queen in the next few moves. I'll give you a chance to figure out the winning move. For those of you who are able to figure it out, it was queen E2, and you have to block with the queen. If you do block with the bishop, then it's checkmate in 2 with knight F6. The king is forced to F8. Then bishop H6, checkmate, because the bishop and knight together protect all the squares. And of course, you can't take the knight on this move. You can't take the knight on this move because the bishop is pinned to the king. So you had to block with the queen. Morphy went through with this the check anyway, and he was able to win the queen. I'll give you another few seconds to figure out the next move. The move here was bishop takes c7, king takes c7. Of course, you cannot go back. You can't go back because of the knight. So king takes c7, and then knight d5 check. The king goes back, and then of course you take the king. However, surprisingly, this position is equal because there's both Morphy and Andersen have a rook for a rook, but otherwise Morphy has a queen for 2 minor pieces and a rook, but considering how this rook knight is trapped in the corner, the engine regards this position equal. Queen g4, which was an inaccuracy. It didn't do much other than stop the rook from coming to g8. And of course but the bishop attacked it right away, getting rid of it. Queen f4, rook g8, queen takes f7, sending the pawn. Bishop takes h4, check. The king has to move now. There's no way to block it. G3 is there, but there are too many pieces on it, and the check would just become more powerful. So king d2, rook e8, threatening to bring the bishop in. Of course, you knight out to secure, make sure the bishop doesn't come in, because now if it did, the rook would just snap it up, and you would be down a piece. So Andersen missed the best move, and he won knight a6. Bishop g5 here would have been the best move, and would have nicely continued the game for him. However, and the king would have to move to c3, and then, but anyway, he went knight a6. This gave Paul Morphy an advantage. Queen h5, bishop f6. Again, this was another move that gave Paul Morphy the advantage, but he failed to capitalize on it and took the knight instead. But however, Andersen said, no, 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 it's fine, you can have the game, and he took on b2. Then Paul Morphy followed up with queen to h4, check, king d7, and then rook b1. The bishop took, and this was the losing move in a way. There, queen to a4 check. The king has to go back. You also, if you go to it's their safest move, and otherwise you leave your king out in the open. For example, if you went to e7, rook to e1, and no matter where you go, you still lose a piece. You still lose the rook. So after check on a4, king back to d8, and after queen takes a3, Andersen resigned the game because in the endgame it's a rook for a knight, queen for a rook and a knight, and this ends up being unhealthy loss for black, and his king is more in the open, and none of his pieces have been developed. So in the end, this is going to be white's game. This game featured a lot of brilliant combinations by both sides, and it was as I said, it's been regarded as another one of Paul Morphy's epic immortal games, and I'll try to show you more of these in the future. In this position as well, Paul Morphy is also threatening checkmate. For example, if you played a move such as b6, trying to get the bishop out this way, then this would be mate. You can't block it with anything, and the queen controls all three of these squares, and the rook and bishop block the king's escape. So Paul Morphy was winning in this position, and we can see why Andersen resigned. If you want more games like these, or just have questions, comments, or ideas, leave them in the comment section below.